Are you looking for a way to level up your English? Have you tried reading, but you always get bored, or find it too hard? Then you should try to listen to this story. Chapter 1. The Christmas Presents. $1.87. That was all. Every day, when she went to the shops, she spent very little money. She bought the cheapest meat, the cheapest vegetables, and when she was tired, she still walked round and round the shops to find the cheapest food. She saved every cent possible. Delia counted the money again. There was no mistake. $1.87. That was all. And the next day was Christmas. She couldn't do anything about it. She could only sit down and cry. So she sat there, in the poor little room, and she cried. Delia lived in this poor little room, in New York, with her husband, James Dillingham Young. They also had a bedroom, and a kitchen and a bathroom, all poor little rooms. James Dillingham Young was lucky, because he had a job, but it was not a good job. These rooms took most of his money. Delia tried to find work, but times were bad, and there was no work for her. But when Mr. James Dillingham Young came home to his rooms, Mrs. James Dillingham Young called him Jim, and put her arms round him. And that was good. Delia stopped crying and she washed her face. She stood by the window, and looked out at a gray cat on a gray wall in the gray road. Tomorrow was Christmas Day, and she had only $1.87 to buy Jim a Christmas present. Her Jim. She wanted very much to buy him something really fine, something to show how much she loved him. Suddenly, Delia turned round and ran over to look in the glass on the wall. Her eyes were bright. Now, the James Dillingham Youngs had two very special things. One was Jim's gold watch. It once belonged to his father, and, before that, to his grandfather. The other special thing was Delia's hair. Quickly, Delia let down her beautiful, long hair. It fell down her back, and it was almost like a coat around her. Then she put her hair up again, quickly. For a second or two she stood still, and cried a little. Then she put on her old brown coat, and her old brown hat, turned, and left the room. She went downstairs and out into the road, and her eyes were bright. She walked along by the shops, and stopped when she came to a door with Madame Eloise, hair, on it. Inside there was a fat woman. She did not look like an Eloise. Quickly, Della let down her beautiful, long hair. Will you buy my hair? Delia asked. I buy hair, Madame replied. Take your hat off, then, and show me your hair. The beautiful brown hair fell down. $20, Madame said, and she touched the hair with her hand. Quick, cut it off. Give me the money, Delia said. The next 2 hours went quickly. Delia was happy because she was looking round the shops for Jim's present. At last she found it. It was a gold chain for the watch. Jim loved his watch, but it had no chain. When Delia saw this gold chain, she knew immediately that it was right for Jim. She must have it. The shop took $21 from her for it, and she hurried home with the 87 cents. When she arrived there, she looked at her very short hair in the glass. What can I do with it? She thought. For the next half an hour she was very busy. Then she looked again in the glass. Her hair was now in very small curls all over her head. Oh, dear, I look like a schoolgirl, she said to herself. What's Jim going to say when he sees me? At 7 o'clock the dinner was nearly ready and Delia was waiting.